Hey everyone, Joseph Onesta, type 2 mentor here. And today I want to talk about the terms chronic and progressive. And when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes back in 2004, my doctor actually used those terms. He said that the type 2 diabetes was a chronic disease, which meant that it wasn't ever going to go away and that it was progressive, that it would gradually get worse, and that I could slow down that process by losing weight and watching what I ate. Now, the nutritionist that he sent me to basically told me to get 60% of my calories from complex carbohydrates, and that I should eat every 2 hours to keep my blood sugar, smaller meals every 2 hours to keep my blood sugar levels steady. Sound familiar? All right. I want you to know that the only reason why type 2 diabetes is chronic and progressive is if you follow that advice. Look, type 2 diabetes, when we're just treating our blood sugar, and I want you to know, I see people all the time. They're concerned about their blood sugar, but not about why their blood sugar is high. Why is it high? Oh, well, hey, I was a good diabetic. I basically did what that nutritionist told me to do. Why is it still high? Well, it's high because of what we're eating and how often we're eating and when we're eating. So as long as we follow that advice, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not offering you medical advice, I am not a scientist, I'm not running experiments, double-blind research experiments. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just helping people who are type 2 diabetic turn that around and get as much control over their diabetes as they possibly can and as they're willing to do. Because the more you're willing to do, gradually it happens, the more you're willing to do, the more you're going to get. We're going to stop, if you're going to listen to me, you don't have to, do whatever you want, learn. Don't believe me. Go study. Listen, what we're going to do is, instead of only caring about our blood glucose levels, we're going to understand one thing. Elevated blood glucose comes from years, possibly decades, of elevated levels of insulin. That insulin is what's making us fat. That insulin is working very hard to get the sugar out of our blood so that we don't rot from the inside out. Now, when I say years and decades, I mean it. Because of our standard American diet, our diet is very high in carbohydrates, which spikes pancreas is working. And after years and decades, our pancreas is getting a little tired. And eventually, those blood glucose numbers start rising. And that's when the doctor pays attention. They don't test for the hyperinsulinemia, the elevated levels of insulin, preceded by as much as 20 years. All right? So here's what we want to do. We want to understand that instead of just worrying about taking more meds, for example, to lower our blood sugar, let's stop raising our blood sugar. Let's stop. And I know that it's going to be impossible to completely do this like this. No, you can't do it as a New Year's resolution. I'll never eat another carbohydrate. Bullpuckies. On the other hand, all you really got to do is start cutting down on those carbohydrates. Fill up your plate with vegetables. Oh, I don't like vegetables, Joseph. The only people, if you don't like vegetables, it's because you've never had them prepared properly. And that's another story. But people who don't like vegetables are great. Fill your plate up with above ground vegetables and have a bit more protein. You're going to be fine. You can eat until you're satisfied. And so here's the thing. Here's what I want you to understand, and here's what I want you to know. The only reason why type 2 diabetes is chronic and progressive is because we treat the symptom, that's elevated blood glucose, rather than the cause, which is elevated insulin levels, chronic elevated insulin levels, which brings about insulin resistance. Joseph Onesta, type 2 mentor here. Like, subscribe, whatever, if you're interested, and I look forward to talking to you. If you think you want to talk to me individually, please feel free to contact me through my website and or through various links that are available on Facebook. And anyway, let's talk. See you later.